Hey, so I just want to talk about how they control the narrative and we need to stop letting them control the narrative. So, what that means is don't get mad about what's hot right now. Go dig and learn about Cecil Rhodes and the Rhodes Scholarship, the New World Order basics, basically, what it is, how it functions, what is global government, what is central banking, how does the Federal Reserve operate? What the heck is Federal Reserve if it's not federal? Why do they call it the Federal Reserve? It's a big trick. It's Colonel Edward Mendell House. He was the advisor for Woodrow Wilson. He's basically the president, not Woodrow Wilson, in 1913 when the Federal Reserve Act was passed. That's the guy who made it a main goal to get central banking put in, and so that they could control wars, and so the funding of wars and how wars are manipulated from behind the scenes. It's like a Don King boxing match. Like, no matter what, if you control the banks and you give both sides the money and then they owe you all this money, no matter what, you win. Even if, no matter who wins the war, no matter who wins those battles, both those sides have to pay you back, just like what happened in World War II with the Nazis and the United States, and how, Prescott Bush, George Bush's grandfather, went to court, went to trial, and lost because he was actually funding the Nazis. Our president, two former presidents, you know, their family is a bunch of criminals. The tycoon before Prescott Bush's father. I had to do a thing where I go look at the old Buckeye Steel building right down the street from me, and it's George Bush's great grandfather, I guess, George W. Bush, and that was the main central crux of how they controlled. Those are the tycoon boom back then, when Buckeye Steel made all the steel for the Harriman railroad systems, and the Rockefellers gave all their oil for it. And just look up all the New World Order basics. Don't look into this staged are these guns good or bad or whatever. Don't get caught up in that. Don't get caught up in David Hogg. Don't get caught up in all this stuff like Sandy Hook and stuff. You'll forget about stuff like that. Like, you have to keep watching the documentaries over and over again, figure out all this stuff, go back and research everything. And I mean, what you need to do is go look up who runs the show for real, and look up the money monopolists, the banksters. Go watch the Ring of Power documentaries that I have on the channel right here, and it's in the playlist, documentary playlists. The Ring of Power. You got the Monkey Blood documentary I just liked. Go to the liked videos to look at that one. Monkey Blood's really, because I got red hair, so I was really interested in what their theories were on that. But that's a whole other thing. But the whole point is just get into the frame of mind where you don't even watch TV. Just go read about the New World Order in any way you can. Illuminati, what the history of that is, what that means, secret societies, how far back, cults and these traditions go. I mean, back to Babylon, basically. Look up Nimrod, king of Babylon, how he had this huge melon, like a huge head that went back to here. And he would scare his enemies with it. He looked like a non-human, basically. And look that stuff up. This is real. Like, this is how a lot of these empires were created, out of the dirt. Just robbing people, wars, killing, getting treasure, keeping it, giving it to your offspring, and having them go out and, so on and so forth. Because that's what empires are. It's this, look up the Merovingian bloodline, look up the Blue Bloods. All this stuff is documented of who these people are. You have to name names. the Saxe-Coburg Gothas. You know, Queen Elizabeth is not a Windsor. All right, she's Germanic. Alex Jones gets into that a lot. The Ring of Power documentary definitely gets into it more than Alex Jones does, but you know that's what all Alex Jones does. He just kind of throws you into the right direction, and it's like, go look it up for yourself. You know, it's like, all right, good, yeah, I will, because you're crazy looking and you sound crazy, but he's so awesome. Like I've been listening to Alex Jones forever. He woke me up to 9/11, being an inside job, outside. It's inside outside job. You got the Fabled Enemies documentary. It's on the documentary playlist. Watch Fabled Enemies, guys. Seriously, it's Jason Bermas's best movie, I think. And the Jason Bermas movie that he just came out with called Shade. Shade. Look that one up. That's really good. Jason Bermas, Shade. It gets into geoengineering, the solar radiation management programs, SRM programs. They're terraforming the skies. Obviously, it looks like there's something going on up there. These just long-lasting. If it was water vapor, it would dissipate. It would disappear. If it's particulate dust, like it looks like it is, it stays there and it turns into these like weird cobweb-looking clouds, and it's not natural. You know, NASA admits terraforming operations, plans for that on Mars, other planets. What makes you think they wouldn't actually try it here if they think the world is heating up and everything else? That's why if you look up solar radiation management programs, that's exactly what they talk about, that global warming's happening and we need to fight it. We need to spray these toxic, metals, heavy metals in the air, like aluminum, barium, strontium are the weather weapon patents. And Ben Livingston, look up Ben Livingston, the father of weather weapons. Project Popeye was a declassified Vietnam project where during the Vietnam War they sprayed the skies with silver and lead iodates that would actually make the heavy rain, it would make it so there would be maximum condensation and it would keep going up and up and up, and there would be more clouds created. Look up the technology itself. There's whole videos about silver iodate and lead iodate, cloud seeding. I have it on a playlist on my channel too. There you go. And it's just everywhere you look. There's systematic programs of controlling us. And you need to look into those before you get caught up in all this Hollywood spectacle that is David Hogg and Sandy Hook, for example, the Aurora shooting, the Boston bombing, those kinds of things. Those are, Wolfgang Halbig was the Sandy Hook expert, one of them that went to court over it. There's a lot of stuff you can look up about it. I mean, but it usually turns into a dead end, and it's a fight not worth fighting. If you're gonna fight a fight, go to your learn the Constitution. Study your basic rights and how they're being taken from you, and it's an incrementalized pattern of gun grabbing. The TSA, the right takes a little bit, the left takes a little bit, the right, it's this giant taking big footsteps towards the New World Order. They use the left, they use the right, and eventually, before we know it, it's just, we're covered, where there's nowhere to go. We're trapped by this web that they created. I mean, that's why they call it the World Wide Web, the internet, and this technological takeover of our lives, and how the cell phones have managed our minds, not the other way around. We created it, but it was created by social engineers, by DARPA, which was ARPA before that, ARPANET. You can look up the history of the internet and how it's all military. It's Google, Bill Gates. His father was a top military guy that had funding. Alex Jones gets into that a lot. But look up Bill Gates' father. I'm just giving you stuff to look up on your own, right? I only have so many tools at my disposal as far as like editing a video or whatever, but go look up these things I'm saying. It's very real, the technological monopoly the technopoly, or technological takeover of society exists, and it's persisting into this globalized super culture, super class, where it'll give you augmented abilities, super thinking abilities, superhuman abilities as far as physical strength, and being able to run faster than traffic, and whatever you name it. The technopolists have thought of it. Brain augmentations, they hooked up people in wheelchairs to computers just to condition us to get into that mode of thought where it's okay, they're just helping these people out. And now it's turned into this whole, you will take the brain scan, and they're gonna, I think, force people into it. And the culture, the society will be set up in a way where if you refuse it, the brain scan, which I think is what's going to happen. It's also biometrics, like you do your thumb scan, your eye scan, and all this stuff too. The biometric control grid there's already patents for grocery stores where you just throw the food in the cart and it scans it automatically. It scans your face, and then it puts you into it finds who you are and everything by just scanning your face, and then you just walk out the store door, and it's all paid for by an account. The thing is if they eliminate cash, which is what they're talking about, then that type of technological overlay would create a paradigm where you would not be able to get food. You wouldn't be able to buy anything unless you were hooked in to all these face scanning technologies, brain scanning, all this stuff. You see what I'm saying? That it's this incrementalism. It's called the Overton window. It's an actual term. You can look that up. And they are shifting the window wherever they want to go. They can paint whatever picture they want on this blank white board, basically. Just picture that, and then they can move this window wherever they want on that board and create whatever reality they want. That's what the TV basically is. The TV is the biggest weapon system ever created, and by the Nazis. Actually, by the Germans. The Germans created the TV, and the ultimate result was Nazis. So think about that. Like, there weren't Nazis until there was television. But I saw this thing on the Alex Jones channel. I'm going to finish the video out with this. So here we are on the Alex Jones official channel. And I'm like, dude, okay. Seems normal. You scroll all the way down. And he's got this Talking Tom and Friends. It's got 7 million subscribers, okay? So I clicked on that. It's official Alex Jones. And it's got basically this weird Donald Trump character for kids. It's like brainwashing them. And I can get into Trump and the omnibus bill. And, I mean, he was set up. Trump was set up with the omnibus bill by the Democrats, by these neocon Republican conservatives. And hold on a second. Look how weird this is.
Exactly. Hard work and honesty. Welcome to a live.
They gave him an apologetic mustache, but it's obviously Trump. I'm going to be there. This is little kids watching this. They're being brainwashed. It's obviously Trump. But why is Alex Jones, this whole question is, why is Alex Jones subscribed to this crap? Alex, you're subscribed to an anti-Trump brainwashing campaign for kids. So, check yourself. Alright? This isn't over! We will ban your guns! Ultimately, and they got the Freemasonic floor. Did you notice that? Your kids are being brainwashed right now. And Alex Jones subscribed to that. That's actually surprising. So, alright, next video coming up. Just go look up everything I just said, or else you're stupid.